Game of the day. LaskaLarnar versus Noobplaine. Adder versus Adder.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Semi-original guy here, aka Mr. Cannon from Advanced Wars by Web, bringing you another live league game of the day. Today, folks, we are playing on a map called Caffeinated Coasters. This is a base light matchup, 2-base, airport, and comm tower support. Folks, we got LaskaLarnar and Noobplaine as the players today. They are facing off in the ever-popular Addermere on this map, folks. Adder is a fantastic pick for this map, considering that it is base light and has an airport. You cannot go wrong with the old Adderage. So, if we take a look at this map, folks, we can see here that this is a base light dynamic. So each base is going to be responsible for taking a front. Most likely we will see pushes from here, and then we will see a push all the way up here. Now, there are several things that can happen on this map, folks. Obviously, this base is going to be responsible for grabbing the airport. And then we will see air units coming out of that property, probably going over here, could go over here, immediately attack the pipe seam with a battlecopter, and then slowly be able to get that very, very nice reinforcement range directly into the center of the map with those folks. But also, in addition to that, we can see vehicles heading down here, we can see vehicles heading down here, and heading over and hitting the center pretty good, folks. Another thing that I see commonly on this map is one player, once they capture this one, the other player should be approaching this region very, very shortly after. So there is definitely a lot of potential for interrupting properties and slowing down the captures of your opponent. So whether or not we're going to be seeing that is a completely other story, folks. Now, both of these players are very good. LaskaLarnar, he is a fantastic Global League player, very, very strong, lively player as well here, folks, sitting at the 1284 overall rating, which is very high. Noobplaine, we all know Noobplaine, we all know the Floppa, the taxman of Advanced Wars by Web. So, he normally likes to play, you know, the tax people, but we're not going to be letting him play the tax people because it's very difficult to see, folks. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what went down in the live league today. Beautiful, folks. We're starting off with the money theme, folks. And you know what else goes really good with the money theme? Standard infantry builds, because you got to get the infantry on the field, folks. It is the #1 priority in Advanced Wars by Web. #2 priority in Advanced Wars by Web, folks. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for all that hot live league action, folks, as both players are immediately capturing properties. That is also what you have to do in Advanced Wars. You got to capture properties. LaskaLarnar, very interesting, folks. Him and Noobplaine alike are both city skipping. Now, city skipping, a very I wouldn't necessarily say it's like the most advanced tactic out there, folks, but it's definitely a very valuable tactic to do and to learn when it is really good to city skip, folks. And one reason why it might be really good to city skip is capturing contested properties and then putting yourself in a position where you are able to interrupt further captures later on. So as we can see here, Noobplaine and LaskaLarnar both skipped to capture this property here. That is going to put them in a one-day reinforcement in order to interrupt this and interrupt this, or capture this, and vice versa, folks. So I think this is a great play by both of these players. So let's see how it ends up working out for them, folks. Both looks like Noobplaine is now putting an infantry in position to capture the airport. Like I said, folks, Adder very strong with air units, very strong with air units indeed. Gotta get the air units on the field. Double tank over here from LaskaLarnar, though, also a very strong build. This looks to be like an ABB or maybe a BAAB tank order by the looks of it here. So very nice. All right, so properties now being captured. So LaskaLarnar has a choice here, folks. He could go for the interrupt and stop Noobplaine from getting that income. or he could go for a capture. Now, if he goes for the capture, there is the possibility that Noobplaine might forego his own capture, recapture with this, and then bring the tank into position to assist in the overall push over here, folks. So Laska definitely has a choice. He's got a choice to make, folks. Let's see what choice he decides to make here. All right, brings the infantry. Okay, this is nice. So he brings the infantry into a position where it actually blocks this capture here. So he's going to be unable to get that capture. So that is fantastic. And he's bringing 2 tanks up to the north position, following it up with a 3rd tank, folks. So that is fantastic. Great play indeed. Now, it's never a bad idea to bring all your tanks into one location. You know, put all your eggs in one basket. It's not necessarily a bad play. Because then if your opponent decides to go split route, you know, send 1 tank one way, send a couple tanks the other way, then you're not going to have the full tank force to fight your entire tank force. So that sometimes can be a little bit better in Fog of War settings, but it can definitely play a factor in these games as well. But we can see here Noobplaine has lost an infantry, and infantry has been destroyed by tank fire. Now, it will be very difficult for Noobplaine to go in and attack this position here, considering that this is very strong terrain. We got 2-star terrain, 3-star terrain right here, folks. No comm towers are captured on this map, so we are dealing with base firepower at the moment. And in addition to that, if Noobplaine goes in and attacks these, Laska has another tank ready to go. So it is very likely that if Noobplaine decides to go in for this attack, it will result in his demise. So let's see what he decides to do. Going for 2 additional captures down south, and now going for the comm tower, bringing the tank down south. Very nice. Okay, so this is a solid play indeed, folks. Busting out the battlecopter, artillery blocking, tank attacking the pipe seam in order to bust that open a little bit quicker. I like the play, folks. You know, he's lost the city. He's not going to be able to necessarily guard that long term here due to the tank presence, but with the addition of the battlecopter now on the map, it's going to definitely change the flow of battle here. And it looks like Laska now doing a front shift, bringing all the tanks down south now. Now there's going to be a grand total of 5 tanks plus anti-air down south. That is a massive amount of units. All right, interrupts comm tower capture, destroys the comm tower, but brings the tank into a vulnerable position here. Ooh. Bold play. Definitely a bold play here, folks. We got a bold play. There is every tank is in position to be struck by a tank. Battlecopter in position to cover at least 1 tank right here. But with 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks, it is likely that this side might face some severe consequences for this push, folks. Let's see what Laska decides to do. Yeah, he sees a line of attack and he's going for it, folks. Oh, and he even strikes an additional tank here. 2 tanks have been struck down and going for the infantry clear. Very nice indeed. So that was a pretty big hit, folks. Pretty big hit. Pretty savage damage indeed. That was a pretty hefty amount of damage. How will Noobplaine counter such a catastrophic attack, folks? He is going to be able to get a comm tower. But let's see what he does after he captures the comm tower, folks. Alrighty, folks. Comm tower acquired. Bringing the infantry back to sit pretty on the HQ. And, ooh, a tank. Tank sacrifice in order to get co-power. Oh, this is very interesting. This is very interesting indeed. What sort of things will occur with this tank sacrifice? Let's see what he manages to pull off. All right, sacrifices the other tank for a full KO. Oh, that is a dirty hit. Dirty hit. Hits the anti-air and then goes for the second comm tower. Oh, just lovely. What a lovely power. That was actually a pretty good use of the power here, folks. Not too shabby at all. Hits the anti-air, which is the immediate threat to the battlecopter right here. LaskaLarnar doesn't really have a counter to the battlecopter aside from this anti-air right now, so he's going to be forced to either build a battlecopter or another anti-air. So we'll see what he decides to do here. Now, this anti-air can hit the battlecopter, and it can still do a significant chunk of damage, folks. As we can see here, boom. So it's going to be able to do about 32% damage. So, I mean, it's not like the best amount of damage out there, but it's not the worst amount of damage, folks. So it's not too shabby. Doesn't go in for the hit, though. Pretty smart. Pretty smart. Ooh. This is actually also a pretty smart move from Laska. So very good awareness right here, folks. So he knows that using the power right now is not really going to net him a whole lot of value out of that attack. So he's going to be holding the power, and he's potentially going to be holding for his super co-power, folks. And a super co-power right now would actually allow this anti-air to cover this anti-air. So if the this battlecopter decided that it wanted to be a hero and try to go in for an attack to get the clear on this anti-air, well, that's not necessarily going to be working out too well for him, folks. So, ooh, interesting. All right, so he goes for it. He goes for the attack, but like I said, if a super co-power is in the works here, folks, this is definitely a gone battlecopter. And okay, so Laska not going for the super co-power, just going for a normal co-power. I don't know what's really going to happen with this one, folks, but he's going to be threatening 2 captures here. Goes in for a KO on this infantry. This infantry is just sitting at 1 HP. He's not going to be doing anything too quickly here, folks, but... Oh, so friendshipped up north to snipe out another infantry, but no real tank hits that turn. So, not really too much value out of that, but there's definitely value. There's long-term value out of this turn, folks. So this is allowing for a capture here and a capture here. Noobplaine is not going to be able to interrupt this capture without having some sort of significant problems. And if the battlecopter goes in here to interrupt this capture here, it will get trapped by the tanks and infantry, allowing this anti-air to go up and take it out. So Noobplaine definitely got some choices to make, folks, but he has definitely made a choice. Will it be a good choice? I don't know. We'll find out soon, folks. We shall find out soon. But you don't want to be losing too much income, especially when you get to this sort of a point here, folks. Like LaskaLarnar with 17,000 income would be able to bust out the classiest unit in advancements by web and infantry every single turn. I don't know if Noobplaine wants that. I don't know if he wants that. 17. Well, it would technically be 18, but 18 or 17 to 14 would be 18 to 13, and that is basically a death sentence at that point, folks. You don't want that to be happening, especially against one of the best. Nice 2-hit right there, though. And yeah, there goes the battlecopter, folks. Pretty significant chunk of damage that turn, folks. Oh boy. Another battlecopter on the field. 21 units to 14 units now. Day 13. Noobplaine definitely not looking too good on the board state here, but does have attacks, folks. He's got artilleries in position. He's got a couple battlecopters. I mean, technically, once this guy and this guy is out of the picture, the battlecopter should be having a pretty good time. Alright, boom. Co-power. Got a co-power, folks. This guy got attacked down south, too, so that's going to have something done. Easy tank attack right here, though. Loop around, attack from the city. This guy could go over here and attack this and interrupt, and this guy could block the HQ, so there's definitely potential here. Doesn't go for that attack, though. Attacking the infantry that is sitting on the city, so might lose the tank for that, but it does secure the city long term, or at least for a little bit longer. Really interrupting that comm tower, though, folks. Alright, got a 2-shot over there. So, no income. No income is going to be flipped this turn. Nice. Nice. That was a pretty good turn. And just like that, folks. Just like that, Laska. I would say he's like maybe a little bit ahead. A little bit ahead when it comes to like units. Definitely ahead when it comes to overall properties and everything, but you know what, his position isn't like super strong for attacking at the moment. Definitely needs to get a few more units on the field in order to launch a full-scale attack over here. Noobplaine holding it down pretty good with the artillery battlecopter combination here, but the tanks and plus that additional firepower bonus from the comm tower is definitely playing a factor here. Goes for a full block. He is going to be flipping that property, folks. However, 3 battlecopters and many tanks pushing over to the HQ. That is definitely nothing to scoff at, folks. That could be highly dangerous if left unchecked. Alright, corners. Okay, both players' corners are completely exposed right now. So if either player can get some infantry into those corners, they are definitely toast. But this is looking dangerous. Looking absolutely dangerous. Could even have a comm tower flip over here. Noobplaine needs to put something into that position. Puts an infantry right here on the HQ. Begins an HQ capture. Now, technically, this is going to go through for one day. Yep, that's going to go through for one day. If that was a fresh infantry, would be GG right now, folks. But it's not a fresh infantry. 2 artillery in position to fire on that HQ, so that's not going to be lasting long term here. Let's see if Noobplaine doubles down and really goes for the capture, or if he decides to pull back into a more defensive area. Doesn't get the luck roll on that, though. Very sad. Yeah, pull back into a more defensive area. There's no point to be pushing for an HQ cap that is guaranteed to fail, folks. Pull back, get into another area. You forced Laska to push into this area here, so that wasn't really too shabby. Pull back over here, grab a property. Very unlikely that Laska is going to be sending in a tank over here, because a tank to interrupt this property, I don't think it's a long-term solution. 1, 2, 3, 4 battlecopters on the field over here from Laska. How does one deal with such reckless hate, folks? We're gonna find out. Now the income is actually flipped back in Noobplaine's favor now, so he is tactically in the driver's seat now, but he's got a major threat right here to deal with. Pulling all the way back to the corner. This could be good, it could also be bad. This could allow for Laska to do a shift over here to the middle, but one key factor here is he needs to protect the HQ. If he doesn't protect the HQ, well, then he's going to have a problem. He's going to get HQ capped, and there's nothing that can be done about that. So he's going in for a full-scale attack up north, doing massive damage, following up with the mid-turn side slip, allowing for another battlecopter to be destroyed, and the capping infantry here. Devastating, like an absolutely devastating attack here, folks. 26 units to 18. 26 to 18. Pops of power, side slipping, interrupting the comm tower, attacking the battlecopter, interrupting another capture. Now the artillery getting some play here. Oh, just focus firing every single one of those anti-air, folks. Gotta get the anti-air off the field. Is definitely the number 3 priority when it comes to spamming battlecopters, folks. Get your opponent's anti-air off the field. And now this corner is completely vacant, though. Laska is going to be forced to send the battlecopter or maybe a tank over here in order to stop the captures. So that will pull away from the reinforcements coming up north. But like long term here, I don't really know if Noobplaine is going to be keeping a whole lot of his units over here. There is a good chance that lots of them are going to be blown completely off of the map here. Even with injured anti-air, these battlecopters are not going to last very long. So let's see what the plan is from LaskaLarnar right now. With 6 minutes left on the clock, Noobplaine 9 minutes on the clock. Goes for a join cap over here, so this property might be guaranteed. Boom, savage flipping damage, folks. Savage damage. Oh, not actually really managing to get the KOs. So managing to do damage, but not securing the KOs here. So that's a very unfortunate for Laska. Very fortunate for Noobplaine, though. All right, so that was a pretty good response Definitely lots of damage over here. I don't really know what Noobplaine is going to be planning on doing after such a hit, but let's see. Let's see what he does. So, attacks with the artillery. Doesn't really have too good of a target with this artillery. Could maybe clear the anti-air or attack the infantry. But looks like he's probably going to be going for an infantry attack here. That if he attacks the infantry, that does open up this to a 2-hit. So that might be the better of the two options. Alright, so he's not going to attack anything with him. Maybe he's going to be bringing it down and placing it in another location, folks. That's definitely a possibility too. Got a big old attack right there. That could have been this attack, but he attacked this one instead. Not necessarily a... Yeah, so he's going to bring that one in. Okay, good. Good. Pretty sure that needed to have been done. So, very nice. Very well played. Very well timed. This guy is susceptible to a interrupt if power is activated, but that is about it, folks. If he does not activate power, this might be a guaranteed flip over here from the Floppa. Sacrifices the tank. Injure this tank a little bit further. Now, Laska is going to have to figure out a response to this one now, because this has definitely been a significant chunk of damage here. He is definitely feeling the hurt after that turn. But he's still got units available, folks, so he's going to be able to do something here. He brings the tank down south, gets a 2-hit on this, doesn't get the clear, so this property is going to be acquired by Noobplaine. Boom, Comm Tower interrupted and destroyed. That is not going to be going through. Another strike on a copter here just to further injure it so that it's not going to be able to be super effective on the front lines. Clears the artillery, though. Loss of a 1 HP infantry, but doesn't put anything else any further. Some people would go in for this anti-air hit right here. You just lose the tank for that, folks. Not necessarily the best move. Alright. Noobplaine moves up. Boom, boom, boom. Double strike. Take it out. Take it out. Yeah, there we go. Now there's not really a whole lot defending that HQ. Even uses the anti-air deep into attacking the infantry right here. The lone infantry on the front lines. The only one that was actually in range to capture anything. So captures are not an issue at this moment, folks. Like, we don't have to worry about those at all. And that is really good news. That is good news for Noobplaine. Not good news for Laska. He definitely needs to navigate the situation to figure out how he can come out on top. If this tank wasn't here, and this tank wasn't here, maybe the plan is to go over here, take out this tank, and allow the anti-air to do business. That could be it. Noobplaine has to be careful here, folks. If he's not careful, he might actually lose to HQ cap. Needs to bring some units down south in order to start fighting this section. Alright, that anti-air is basically out of commission here. And he sees it. Sees it. Brings it down. Brings it down for the defense. Not a single infantry in sight up north, though. Oh, except for this one. And this one, but... needs some more infantry. Needs infantry in order to capture the properties, folks. But once again, Noobplaine doesn't really need to worry about the capture because he is technically ahead right now. Laska is the one that needs the infantry on the front lines and activating the Sidewinder, folks. The Sidewinder, the super co-power, the +2 movement in order to snipe out a battlecopter. Takes out a tank. Gets another battlecopter elimination, folks. Goes in for a 2-hit on this guy. Doesn't get enough damage to get the KO, though, which is very unfortunate. Another battlecopter enters the mix, folks, but infantry is in position to capture this property. There we go. There we go. It's taken out, folks. Oh, using the anti-air to attack, followed up with the tank. Very nice. Good KO right there. Ooh, another tank. Not a single tech up so far, folks. Not a single tech up. I'm very, very sad about that. We need to see some tech ups, folks. We need more classy units up in the live league, folks. You got to be building those tech ups and get them on the field. You'll make me happy. But this match so far, oh, Laska. Just as soon as I said it, folks, as soon as I said it, I swear, I had no idea. No idea it was going to happen, folks, but now I am very happy. LaskaLarnar, possibly one of the classiest people in Advanced Wars by Web right now, busting out the classy medium tank. It's on the field and it is ready to just dominate over here. And Noobplaine unable to do a response unless he joins the units right now, so let's see. Let's see what he's going to do. He senses danger. He senses danger. He's pulling back. He's pulling back to the HQ. He's like, oh man, I can't do anything against the medium tank. Medium tank's too powerful. It's too powerful. How do you contend with it? All right, 16,000 income. Busting out a recon now. Interesting. All right, so going for some mobility plays right now, but once again, Laska not only needs to flip one property, but he also needs to get another property. Because even with the flip, Noobplaine has the comm tower. And it is actually likely that maybe he might be getting that second comm tower here. Oh my god, and he just made a play to get another property. If he gets this property here, that could potentially be a GG situation, and Laska knows it, so he's got to interrupt this. Brings the medium tank down south, folks. Alright, destroying the infantry. No more captures up north, folks. Ooh, I don't even know where Laska should attack at this point. Down south is probably the most vulnerable location. Even though it's got this here, it would be very difficult to push into here with the tank presence backed up by the battlecopters. Noobplaine gets the capture. Oh, he's going to attack and join. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Needs a super co-power in order to bust into the forest, folks. Now, he could join, and that would be pretty good. But he doesn't have to, because I really don't think there's anything in position to interrupt that. So he could just keep the infantry there as the blocker. All right, here we go. We got a blocker. Laska busting out the power. It is day 26, folks. We are fast approaching the end of this game. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, flipping K. Alrighty then. Finds the attack with the medium tank and moves in with the recon, taking it down to 1. Okay, you know what, folks? If that join cap was there, that would have been a flip. Would have been a flip. It's not going to be a flip anymore. Maybe the join cap was to play, folks, but, you know, is what it is. Is what it is. Pulls back. Can't push into this up north. Day 26, and Noobplaine continues the assault. Forgoes the capture, attacks the recon, and then just brings everything in to attack the infantry. Because that, at this point, that is all you need to do, folks. You just need to attack the infantry to make sure that they do not exist on the field so that they cannot capture any properties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With a super co-power, he could reach one of these properties, but a super co-power is pretty far off, folks. Pretty far off indeed. Day 27 has the T-copter. Now, maybe day 28, drop day 29, capture on the HQ could be a potential plan here. That might be what he's doing here, folks. But, oh, the battlecopter slices through, eliminates the T-copter, and that's basically... T-copter might have been the last hope there, folks, and it has been destroyed. There is a comm tower being captured, and no hope. There is no hope. There is no hope left after the transport copter has been destroyed, folks. That is it. There is no way to get the HQ. Maybe there could have been a way with the HQ and T-copter, but Noobplaine just pushed in there. What a brilliant game. Actually, honestly, a fantastic game from Noobplaine here, and a fantastic game from LaskaLarnar. Both played incredibly well. I think Noobplaine just caught Laska off guard with the co-power early and interrupting the comm tower. That's what it was, folks. This map in particular is all about interrupting either a city or interrupting a comm tower early and making it so your opponent just can't get that income. But Laska got the income afterwards, was ahead for quite a bit, but Noobplaine just dug deep and he got the win, folks. What a fantastic game between these two. But hopefully you all enjoyed that one, and if you did, consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, folks. I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye bye for now.